My name is Daniel Sussman. I'm the project director at Harmonix Music Systems, and we've been very hard at work developing Fantasia Music Evolved. And so here we are in the shoal. So our control scheme is designed to be very approachable and intuitive. We're taking advantage of the connect here. As Jessa explores the scene, she can just step left and right and actually explore the scene. And if she raises her hand, you can see this is the tool that Jensen has provided her to explore the scene, to interact with the scene physically. And it's called the Muse, and it's a 3D cursor that sits in the world, and as she sort of stretches her hand out in front of her, she can send this cursor, the Muse, into the scene to affect objects. So here she's discovered some seahorses, and as she sort of brushes over the plant there, these seahorses pop out. She gets 5 of them. They start to spin. This little music box, sound effect. And she's rewarded with magic energy. And this is sort of the quest that Jensen has sent you on, to discover this energy and return it to him. So there's not much you can do when you're first introduced to these worlds. The real kind of cache of energy lies in songs, which are accessed through tears in the world that take you out into kind of the imagery evocative of the cliff that Mickey conducted from. So here we have Bohemian Rhapsody, and a quick sort of primer on the gameplay just so you know what to expect. We have basically 3 modes of performance gameplay. There's gesture beat match, where there will be cues that Jessa has to perform kind of in time with the music, and those are punctuated by moments of creative choice, where she can bring in elements, new elements to the mix, and sort of over time evolve the mix and create something that, you know, transforms from familiar to personal. There are also moments of improvisation, where she can actually reach out and paint melody or grab sound and transform it and then sort of place it back in the song and actually create her own sounds that sort of sit on top of the mix that she makes. I think, you know, from a gestural perspective, you know, we sort of set the stage with Dance Central, and the detection in that game is amazing, but it's also very prescriptive, and the things that we're asking you to do are very defined, and I think we wanted something that was a little more expressive, even from a gestural standpoint here. So here you have these cues that sort of imply a direction, but in fact Jessa can use either hand. She can go big, she can go small, she can sort of play the way she wants to. She can dance if she wants, but we're being pretty particular. As you know, we don't consider this to be a dance game. It's a game that you can dance to if you want, but you don't have to. It's sort of, you know, it is what you make of it. So as I mentioned, there are sort of opportunities for you to transform the song. So here, Jessa has selected the blue path, which is actually connected to a whole bunch of music that is pulled from an orchestral arrangement of Bohemian Rhapsody. The green path is more of a kind of heavy metal, 80s, you know, double bass, acoustic guitar craziness. But over the course of the song, you're basically pulling in different layers and, you know, making a very kind of unique mashup of the song, incorporating different layers from the different mixes that we have. So here she has brought in the sort of driving metal bass that sits atop the string section. You still have the drums. You still have Freddie Mercury singing to you. So here she's brought in the kind of, you know, Metallica style one acoustic guitar. It's sort of some crazy Queensryche with an orchestra and Queen. So this is a part of the game where you're actually unlocking the musical manipulator, the vehicle that allows you to improvise and add new elements. And if Jessa can actually highlight every edge of this cube, she'll be rewarded with the musical manipulator, which in this case is called the FX Sculptor. And what it is it's almost like a lathe where you're reaching out in front of you and grabbing the guitar solo and adding wah-wah and delay. So there's a phenomenal amount of variety in each song. You can actually create a very, Jessa could create a very different version. I've watched her play this kind of over the last, all day, since 10 o'clock this morning. And each time it's been different, which keeps me sane, actually. So there's the monster drums. So the other component to the choices actually is that the authoring changes along with the music. So everything is, there's a level of tactical strategy behind the choice as well. If you're chasing for points, you might choose the denser parts that actually afford you a higher score. So this is the Sound Sketcher, and this is basically an opportunity for Jessa to paint a guitar solo onto this sphere. And the cool thing about it is that we're recording what she does, and then that will play back over the next section of the song, so she's really adding a personal element to the song. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes tech to make sure that there are no wrong notes here. We're transposing to keep everything in key. Everything is rhythmically sound, even if, you may not like some of the choices she's made. It doesn't sound bad. So big, epic, symphonic percussion. So each realm holds a different set of songs, and each song has a unique set of remixes. And as you play them, you pull energy back out into the scene that then opens up sort of new opportunities for gameplay and interactions. So here you see the magic energy that she's pulled out of the song settles in this sort of localized pool of magic called a transformation key. And if she places her muse over that and swipes, she brings out a turtle. And with the turtle comes the piano riff from Bohemian Rhapsody. So you're always adding to the soundtrack. You're evolving the soundtrack as you play the game. You're evolving the scene. There are fish. The lighting changes. You're adding color and life to the shoal. And as I mentioned, you're able to actually open up new interactions as well. So one of the interactions that we saw earlier was the seahorses, where you just sort of scrub over the seahorses. This is a little different, where each of these banks of shellfish represent different components of a jazz drum set. So there's your snare, there's your ride cymbal shells, your tom-tom clams, your kick drum oysters. And once you've gotten through the whole set, you can basically freak out and improvise your own drum part. So this is sort of a free-form, sort of expressive form of musical gameplay that we're recording. So everything that you do, you can sort of decide, okay, no, I'm not happy with that. Stick your hand out, do something a little different, maybe something tasty with the toms and the cymbals, snares and crashes. And when she's happy with what she's done, so there are her clams. That's the drum solo that she made. And actually, that'll continue to play every time the soundtrack loops around to the, when the form repeats on the downbeat, you get that drum fill taking you into the one. So there's a tremendous amount of depth within the scene. Each song yields different types of musical experiences. There's her drum fill. It's gonna happen all the time. I'm gonna actually skip through the second song, just so we can all get out of here. The second song is Fun Some Nights, which, is sort of this big, epic, kind of almost arena rock pop song. I'm going to hit there. So that also pulls all this energy out, sets up a second transformation key. And there you get the whoa, whoa, whoa from the sort of background vocals and the driving sort of snare drum rhythm that defines the song. But it's also opened up this trench that we can zoom into. And similar to the drum solo node, this offers sort of another type of sort of improvisational experience. So each of these chorals spawns a different type of fish. These fish are actually going to burp the solo, the background vocals from Fun. And then there's a third type that has a little clarinet riff. And once she's sort of stepped through all the different components, she can sort of stick her hand forward and then create her own melody, her own sequence that ties all of these different components together. I promise. So I think similar with the jazz clams, we're trying to, use the technology, some of the back-end stuff to give you sort of a nice, safe place to be creative in. It doesn't take a lot of effort to create something that feels pretty cool, but also as you get better at the mechanic and you sort of understand how the cursor responds, you can create something that's very intentional. And then that pulls back into the scene the same way that those the drum solo did, where these fish will swim around the scene, they'll animate, and they'll sing your little melody back at you. And that's kind of the game loop. So, this is one of two levels that we're showing at E3. As you play, the world is just sort of reflecting back all the choices that you've made. And you continue on your quest to explore new realms and discover new music and new musical interactions. And everything is different. I think just like with the film, which covers a tremendous amount of kind of thematic ground, we have moments of, hilarity and whimsy and sort of lightheartedness and color. And then we also have moments of sort of, profound darkness and sort of edginess. And, I feel like that's one of the calling cards of the film that we're trying to make sure is reflected, both in sort of the stylistic bounds in our music selection, but also artistically in sort of the environments that we, let you explore. So we've been very proud to show Fantasia Music Evolved. This is a 2014 title coming out for Xbox 360 on Kinect and Xbox One.